The story of Sulayman, our 17th prophet. Prophet Sulayman, otherwise known as Prophet Solomon, was the son of Prophet Dawood, otherwise known as Prophet David. When Prophet Dawood died, at his funeral his son Sulayman instructed the birds to block out the sun, to grant the people in attendance of the funeral shade from the hot sun. When this happened, the people knew that not only had Prophet Sulayman inherited the kingdom, but he was also graced with prophethood by Allah. Allah blessed Prophet Sulayman with many gifts: wisdom, prophethood, the ability to judge between people in the most correct and fair manner. He was given immense wealth, the ability to communicate with the birds and all sorts of different animals. Although Prophet Sulayman was granted all these powers by Allah, he was the most devout and excellent worshipper of his Lord Allah. Allah granted Prophet Sulayman more and more, but Prophet Sulayman did not go without being tested. One day he was inspecting his horses. Some people say that it was up to 20,000 horses. During the inspection, the afternoon came and went. He forgot his afternoon prayer for the remembrance of Allah. After this, he got severely sick. So sick, in fact, he appeared to be dead on his throne. His people could not help him. The jinn could not help him. The birds, who flew far and wide to retrieve herbs as medicine, could not help him. It got to the point where he was so sick, it was as if his kingdom was being taken from him. He realized, with his powerful position granted to him and all his wealth, that no one could help him but Allah. He sought forgiveness of Allah constantly, and through his trials he never gave up hope of Allah granting him mercy. Allah forgave him, curing all his sickness. Prophet Sulayman asked Allah, after he had been granted forgiveness, to be given a kingdom that no one else would ever be granted after him. Allah responded, Prophet Sulayman was given the power to control the wind. With the control of the wind, he could do a month's journey in one morning, 2 months' journey in one day, which allowed him and his whole army to move around very quickly. He was also given the power to control and rule over all of the jinn kind. He had the ability to control them, imprison them, whatever he desired. They were made to serve him in many different ways, building the most magnificent buildings ever constructed. They would be sent to the oceans to retrieve all sorts of jewels and splendor. They even served in his army. Prophet Sulayman was also a warrior. He had the biggest army that had ever existed in history, consisting of men, animals, and jinn kind. He was such a powerful man, and everyone loved him, as he always remained just and humble in all his actions, never oppressing anyone. There was one occasion when Prophet Sulayman had his entire army in attendance. The army were marching. They were organised in such a way that they all had their correct positions. The men, the jinn kind, the birds, and all the other animals. Prophet Sulayman with his entire army were marching towards the valley of the ants. Prophet Sulayman heard one ant calling out to the other ants, O nation of the ants, go into your dwellings, as Prophet Sulayman is coming with his entire army, and he may trample over you without even knowing what has happened. Prophet Sulayman, on hearing this, smiled, as even the ants knew of his prophethood. He then stopped his whole army so that he would not harm the ants. A great example of cooperation of each other, defending each other, and understanding of being together as a whole ummah. On one other occasion, Prophet Sulayman was inspecting his entire army. From his huge army he noticed that there was one hoopoe bird missing from the lineup. Prophet Sulayman said, for this hoopoe bird's absence it should be punished severely, or we might even execute it unless it has an acceptable excuse for not being here. The hoopoe bird then appeared. Prophet Sulayman asked what had happened. The bird responded by saying, I have come to you with knowledge that you do not have. The bird explained, I have come to you from Saba, otherwise known as Sheba. I have seen a woman that has a kingdom there. She is a ruler over her people. She is the queen of Sheba, and she has much authority, an army, and wealth. She has a very great and beautiful throne within her palace. But I saw her and her people worship in the sun. They do not worship Allah. They are not guided people, as Shaitan has taken hold of them. Prophet Sulayman, on hearing this, thought to himself, let me show this woman, with everything she possesses, the power of what Allah could grant her. To see whether the bird was telling the truth, Prophet Sulayman wrote the Queen of Sheba a letter, telling the bird to deliver the letter and to keep watch of her and see what result will come of the letter. In the letter, Prophet Sulayman wrote just 2 lines. This is from Sulayman, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Do not be haughty over us and come to us surrendering. When the Queen of Sheba read the letter, she called her chiefs and her council to consult with them regarding it. They advised her that they had a great army and that if she wanted to fight, they were with her decision. But she was wise and thought to herself, I have power, wealth, authority and a kingdom. He must possess great power to write such a letter to me. She decided that she must see who these people are and wanted to make peace with Prophet Sulayman. So she sent some servants to bring Prophet Sulayman great gifts. In doing so, she asked of the servants to scope out exactly what she was dealing with in terms of the size of the army she may be up against. The servants left with the gifts to take to Prophet Sulayman. The Hopu bird watched intently as these matters unfolded. The bird flew ahead and informed Prophet Sulayman of the situation. Prophet Sulayman decided that when the servants would arrive, he would display his entire army, mankind, jinnkind, birds, all the other animals including lions, tigers and bears, all standing aligned in front of his giant kingdom. So the servants arrived, overwhelmed with the sight of the massive army and the great kingdom on display, to the point that they felt embarrassed at the gifts they were bearing, as they had no comparison to what they could see casually on display within the great kingdom before them. Regardless of how they felt, they put forward the gifts. Prophet Sulayman responds, what Allah has given me is far greater than anything you have. You have seen everything here, the army and the kingdom. You cannot bribe me with anything you have to offer. Now go back to where you have come from. We will come to you with forces that you will never be able to overcome. We will remove you from Sheba in a disgraced manner. The servants returned to the land of Sheba, informing the queen that there was no way that they'd be able to overcome the great army. It was just not possible. They described everything that they had seen to her. On hearing all the details of the great army, the men, the jinns, all the birds and animals, she became frightened. They told her that she must go to Prophet Sulayman and make peace, not surrendering to him but not fighting with him either. But Prophet Sulayman had given 2 options to them: you either surrender or you fight. The queen decided that she should confront Prophet Sulayman herself. Prophet Sulayman was aware that she was coming, so he gathered his chiefs and generals within the army and addressed them. He said, I want you to bring me the queen's throne that she sits upon within her palace, the throne that she and her people admire so much. He asked, which one of you can bring the throne to me before they arrive here to my kingdom? One of the most powerful jinns said, I will bring it to you before you get up from where you are sitting and put it wherever you want. Then another powerful jinn who had been given knowledge by Allah spoke and said, I will bring the throne to you intact with all its jewels and splendour within the blink of your eye. Prophet Sulayman then blinked, and just like that, the queen's throne was in front of him. In addition to this, they moved her entire palace and brought it to their land. Her throne was placed within her palace. Prophet Sulayman was so grateful to Allah for the powers granted to him, and supplemented prayer to show his humbleness and appreciation of such power. Prophet Sulayman then requested for her throne to be slightly modified to see if she noticed when she saw it. But before she arrived, Prophet Sulayman also ordered for another palace of his own to be constructed for him to place next to hers, a palace that was like no other, a palace so grand and unique that nothing like it had ever been seen before. So a mighty palace was created in a matter of moments by the jinns. It was created with a glass floor with water flowing beneath it, where all types of fish and exotic sea life could be seen through the great glass floor. Everything had been created within a blink of an eye. When the queen arrived with her entourage, she was amazed at the sights she could see. She was overwhelmed by the grand architecture and beauty of what she could see all around her. She then entered a palace heading towards Prophet Sulayman, where her throne was placed. She looked confused at her surroundings, of which appeared to be her palace and then her throne, knowing full well how long her journey had taken to get there. So how could her palace and her throne possibly be there before her? In addition to this, if this was not her palace or her throne, how could it all be copied to look almost exactly like her own? Completely puzzled by what she was seeing, her whole belief of worshipping the sun was questioned in her own mind, knowing that there was someone so much greater than her. She said, "That throne appears to be mine." Prophet Sulayman responded by saying, "We have been granted the knowledge of Allah, and we have surrendered to Him." The Queen of Sheba was then taken to Prophet Sulayman's newly built grand palace, the palace with the glass floor. She then went on to walk forward over the glass floor, slightly lifting her garment above her ankles so it would not get wet. Prophet Sulayman informed her that there was no need to do that, as the floor was a fine and very strong glass. This confused her even further, as she had never seen such things before. She knew now that whatever knowledge, power, and her whole kingdom simply had no comparison to what she had seen before her. The grandeur of the palaces and kingdom of Prophet Sulayman, her own throne and palace, the glass floor, the humble and pious behaviour of Prophet Sulayman. Upon this point, she realised that she must surrender. She was used to worshipping the sun, but a new light had started to fill her heart, knowing that she was on falsehood. She said, "O my Maker, O my Creator, I have oppressed myself. I have done wrong all along. I surrender to you, just like Prophet Sulayman. You are the one that has created the entire creation." She had been moved so much that she surrendered along with her whole army and kingdom. All of them went on to become believers of Allah. Prophet Sulayman had made an entire nation believe in Allah, but around this time, there were still people lost and confused and were engaging in the use of black magic. They were misguided by Shaitan. Prophet Sulayman put a stop to this practice. He ordered the jinn kind to gather and remove all of the books that included and taught any black magic. Prophet Sulayman knew that anyone that used black magic fell into the fold of disbelief of Allah. So all the books were removed from the community. They were placed under his throne and buried, so no one would be able to access them anymore. Under his rule, black magic was wiped out. In Jerusalem, Prophet Sulayman rebuilt Al-Aqsa Mosque, the mosque that was previously built by Prophet Yaqub, otherwise known as Prophet Jacob. Next to it he built a temple where he would go and use it for worship. It has been reported that the Ark of the Covenant was kept there. People to this day are still digging in and around Al-Aqsa Mosque in hope of finding the Ark. At the time of Prophet Sulayman, there was a rumour that the jinn kind could see the unseen. Allah wanted to prove this to be false. So when the jinns were made to create a building for Prophet Sulayman, he was standing with his stick as the jinns laboured hard at work, not wanting to slow down as they were being watched. As he was standing there, the angel of death came to him and he passed away. He remained in the same position with his stick and his eyes still open, while the jinns continued the construction, working tirelessly. Days went by, nothing was noticed. An ant began to eat the stick of Prophet Sulayman. After some time of the ant eating the stick eventually broke. The body of Prophet Sulayman dropped down. When it fell down, it was now known by everybody that the jinn were not able to see the unseen. They didn't even see what was right in front of them, or they would have noticed that Prophet Sulayman had long passed away. The soul of the great Prophet and King Sulayman had been taken away by Allah.